Well, they closed down the mill and they closed down the mine. They said you can't work but pay your taxes on time. Got 3 little babies gonna starve to death or freeze. We started making white lightning, it was Grandpa's recipe. Run, rebel, run to nowhere. Run, rebel, run to the Scott County jail.
Hey everyone, happy Thursday. You are locked in live for the next hour on the Jailhouse Informant live video podcast. I'm your host, Miranda.
Hey everybody, I'm Christy. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm sure Sally will make an appearance tonight as well, so be on the lookout for that fuzzy nut. She's running around here right now. But my gosh, y'all, we're in the first week of September. Unbelievable how fast this year has been going by. But happy anniversary yesterday.
Yes. We, if you saw our post on there, you saw that it was our 3-year anniversary since we opened up the jail. And I mean, it's hard to believe. Where does the time go?
Yeah. But it's been a great ride so far. And as we said in the post, we cannot thank you guys enough for all of the support that you've given to us. We've, as we said, we opened the jail. We've had recognition from the state in the terms of the Tennessee State Museum, international podcasts, international magazines, radio shows, TV broadcasts, especially out of Knoxville. Music video, TV show, partnership with rugby. We've done so much over the last 3 years, but we could not have done it without y'all's support and your help and your enthusiasm and really kind of pushing us to do some different things. So thank you all so much. Next week, I know we keep saying this, but next week we have people in place to move some of our items over to the bank building. So we will be in the bank building. We think HTC has finally figured out our situation with our internet and our point of sale system. So we already have people on standby to help us move. So it will happen next week, and we'll give you all an update on that. But again, thank you guys so much for what you do for us and the enthusiasm and support. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And it's going to be exciting, this move, because it's going to kind of change some of the logistics of what we're doing as far as our guided tours, as well as our paranormal investigators. That's going to really open up some space for them. So we want to do it right. And for some reason, it's been a major hassle trying to get the phones and the internet set up just right. But I'm really excited about the new exhibits because Chris and I, we worked our butts off the last 2 days in there, making sure that everything was ready to move next week. And I got to say, some of the exhibits that we've talked about that we're adding, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Wait.
Yeah. And so that'll allow us to showcase another historic building here in Huntsville. The First National Bank building was built in 1909 with the same sandstone brick that the jail is made out of. So it's really cool to have that other building to know that Huntsville, the town of Huntsville, the mayor and the aldermen have put their faith in us to help preserve that building as well. So, it's a lot of fun. As Miranda said, I think it's going to be a great addition to what we're trying to do here. And I think everybody's going to benefit, guests and paranormal investigators alike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so just a couple things, if you saw our poster that we had this week, we're going to be continuing our series, our They Did Time series, where we're going in and talking about the different types of evidence and some of the different teams that have investigated here. We're going to be breaking that down. I know we got some of the folks that were going to be sharing their evidence. They're over there in the chat room. But if you didn't if you didn't get to see last week's episode, we had the guys from Haunted Discoveries, Brandon Alvis and Kevin Oddie, were kind enough to join us. And they really broke down what they're doing with haunted discoveries. And what was really cool about this is this was right on the right on the head there of the episode that they filmed here, dropping this past Saturday. And I know a lot of you folks tuned in and watched that as well. If you didn't get to see it, it was such a cool episode.
It was fun.
It was such a cool episode. If you didn't get to see it, I know that they had it streaming on demand for like 48 hours after it was released. I think, I don't know when it's going to show back up again, but I think it maybe pops up on demand kind of
on
randomly.
Sling and Roku, yeah. But again, that's another team we just can't thank enough for that group to come out and highlight the jail, and again highlight kind of what we're doing. The jail didn't really talk a lot during that episode, but if you've been here, you understand that having a large crew and cast here can probably be a little bit intimidating. So what they got was kind of interesting, and obviously stuff that they can't explain, and stuff that we experience all the time here. So it was good that they were able to highlight some of that stuff. But great group of people. Just really appreciate the way they've been supporting us, and what they've done with haunted discoveries.
Yeah, and we'll have to include some of their evidence that they captured on another one of ours. They did time. I know we actually ended up recording the episode, so so we'll have to break out some of that evidence. Hello to everyone there in the chat room. I just wanted to kind of draw attention
let's go
quick
through
to
some.
Nancy's comment right here. Really sorry about you all.
Our condolences, Nancy.
Yeah, losing your mascot and family dog. Yeah, I've been pulling up some of the comments here. We just want to say hello to everybody that's tuned in here. And we've got Dee Dee here from out in California. Our thoughts
are with you, Dee Dee. Hope everything's going all right out there.
Yeah, I know there's some fires and stuff going on, and so again, thank you guys.
Thank you, Jennifer,
so much. So yeah, just kind of talking about a little bit of stuff that we've got going on here. We truly have a whole lot going on. Last week, we announced that we were adding an extra hour for the people who were investigating during the month of September. And we had a couple teams last week that took advantage of this extra time. You get to investigate from 8:30 until 4 a.m. And so we had our first team here at the jail that did that on Sunday night. Last week was a full weekend of investigations. We had 2 investigations at the jail. And
one at rugby, and flashlight tours and lantern tours. And, just before we sat down, 2 paranormal investigations booked for a couple weeks from now. So a lot is going on. A lot of people that are starting to really book more, get those fall bookings in, because things are filling up pretty fast.
Yeah. So I'm just, we got this event, this poster finished here a little bit earlier. And so we will be sharing it out there. Let me find the screen here. I hate it when it doesn't show what I'm trying to show, and I got to go back and forth. So we got our events posted for September and October. I mean, it's really nothing special. I mean, we offer these flashlight tours, lantern tours, and ghost walks. We offer them every Thursday through Sunday night, but it's a little bit more special here when it's the fall, because we've really tried to pack things in. We've shifted the times as to when we do these so that we can do multiple tours a night. If we have an investigation booked, we're able to do a tour beforehand, because these are in pretty high demand during the months of September and October, and they're already starting to book. But as you can see, we have completely loaded our schedule up. 2 locations. We have 4 different tours, 2 people.
Paranormal investigations, guided ghost hunts, you name it, we got it. And someday we'll sleep at some
when
point.
We're dead. Yeah. And then if that's the case, please do not come bothering us with wanting EVPs.
Exactly.
When that's the case. But yeah, so we've got a lot added on here. And just to kind of mention a little bit what they are, what our flashlight tours are. Those are 90-minute tours. I know a lot of the time when we have teams here, people come, if it's a full tour, sometimes it ends up going a little bit longer, but they're roughly 90 minutes. And it is a tour of the jail where you get photo, video, and audio evidence, and you also get the history of the jail. It's probably our most popular tour that we have here of the jail. We do a little mini session when we're up there, something to kind of give you a little bit of a taste. We do not have the guided ghost hunts on this schedule because, again, that is every Thursday through Sunday night. And that's at 9 p.m. Those are 3-hour guided ghost hunts. And then, of course, we're reviving our award-winning Ghosts of the Past Haunted History Walk. That one's really unique here in Huntsville because we take you on a 45-minute walk of Huntsville here, that downtown, telling you the history as well as telling you some of the ghost stories from the area. And then it ends with a 45-minute to an hour, I guess it'd be about an hour and 15-minute tour of the jail by flashlight. So it's essentially our flashlight tour with a walk around Huntsville added to it, I guess you could say.
Yeah. And I got to say, I'm proud of you. You're saying Huntsville and not Huntsville.
Thanks.
I'm proud of you.
I know. And so it's a mouthful. I'm looking at this schedule and I'm getting tired looking at this schedule. And so then, of course, with historic rugby, we've got our Village Lantern tours and our North Village and Cemetery tour. These aren't to be confused with the events that rugby has there. They have a couple little events going on during October. And so we've planned this schedule accordingly. And we'll run these tours sometimes simultaneous of each other. We recommend you do the Haunted Village Lantern tour first because it's more of a deep dive into the history. Chris just does an amazing job covering that, and you get to go in the homes and then take the second tour, which we've had a couple people book and do both tours, one on a Friday and a Saturday night. And so the other is of the Haunted North Village, and it goes down to the cemetery as well. So,
yep, a lot of fun. All of these tours are a lot of fun. We love giving them. So if you've had not experienced any of those and you're looking to do something in the fall, please consider us at either the jail or at rugby. And here are the dates. We'll be posting that a little bit later tonight, so everybody will have that at their fingertips.
Yeah, and so those are, that shot down real quick. I wasn't expecting that to drop that quick when I hit that. So those are just the lantern tours. We do have guided ghost hunts on the schedule, and we have private paranormal investigations. If those book out. And of course, all those dates on that poster, those are subject to availability based on, how you, based on how the schedule books up.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Let's see here. Another
one
cool
more
thing.
Yep.
Another cool, two more things, that's going on here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so, so we talked a little bit about, the Haunted Discoveries episode that was last week. The timing couldn't be more perfect with all this. The guys were on here talking about their episode. The episode released on Saturday. And then, of course, this Saturday, we've got the author J.H. Gason himself going to be here at the jail doing a book signing and a meet and greet. And he's been here before, but he's doing his, it's a second edition re-release of his book, High Wind's Quest for Rome, which is about the Jerome Boyett and Harvey Winchester lynchings that took place from here. And so we're real excited. He's coming back out to meet with everybody. I know people who've come out the last 2 times he's been here has had a blast.
Yeah. And this is a really cool book. Obviously, it details what happened with Jerome Boyett and Harvey Winchester, kind of what led up to the lynchings from the jail here in 1933. But as Miranda said, this is the re-release. So it's essentially the same book that he had before, but he's added some special features in with this one, such as locations of the cemetery where each of these key players are buried, some different maps and such of the county of Scott County and such. So a lot going on in this re-release, which is a lot of fun.
And just to kind of look here, let's see, we got a lot of videos and all this cool stuff up on the screen here. So Yeah, to answer Susan's question, that's a great question. She says, will you bring copies of the book to the Haunting in the Hills? We will have copies of that. I think at this time, I think we've got what, 2 of the old books
Yes. Sorry.
left?
Hold on.
Hmm.
Intermission for Sally Crossing.
I think we've got maybe 2 of his first edition books left, and then we've got a full stock of the other books.
Yep.
So
Yep. So we will have them. And thank you, Susan, for bringing up Haunting in the Hills, because that brings up our next topic quickly. We have 2 appearances where we'll be this September. The first one is the Haunting of the Hills Storytelling Festival on September 21st. We will have a table set up out there to represent the historic Scott County Jail, represent historic Rugby After Dark, represent Ghost Biker Explorations, and Soul Sisters Paranormal. So if you want to get a full fix of everything that we stand for, come see us at the Haunting of the Hills Storytelling Festival. It's a lot of fun. I'll be there all day, and we'll meet everybody who wants to come out. And then the next one that we have, the next appearance in September, is going to be the Scott County Heritage Festival. It's just down the road at Scott High. That's September 28th. And again, we'll have a table set up there, representing everything, all 4 of our entities here. So if you're in the area, please stop by and see us and pick up some of that merchandise. And hold on, Sally, stop it.
yeah, so sorry, we've got cat problems. So, and then the very next one is we're going to be starting October off. We're going to be part of the Giant Pumpkin Festival, which is going to be taking place in Allard, Tennessee. And this is such a cool festival and a great way to kick off the fall season or spooky season itself. So all these different festivals, from what I understand, that we're advertising here, they're all free, and you can see a lot of great vendors and a lot of people, including us, on here.
Yep. Yep.
And then on into October 19th is the October Sky Festival. Have you seen the movie October Sky, or as they call it, Rocket Boys? I know it's got those 2 names with Jake Gyllenhaal. That was filmed there in Oliver Springs, Tennessee. And so this is part of the festival that it's their 19th annual. And so you can come and see us there. We're excited it'll be our first time being there. So we're really, really excited to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So all of the places where you can see us, of course, follow the mall here in Huntsville. We won't have a table there, but we will have the bank building open as well as the jail open that day. So we obviously will advertise it because it's right here in Huntsville, but we'll be at the bank, not so much at a table or a booth on that festival.
Yeah. And you never know. There may be some other things that we add between now and then, because again, who doesn't like an overloaded schedule?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. So anyways.
Yes. Anyways.
Okay.
All of that to say, we've got a really spectacular little jail here, and it definitely loves to talk. And so if you've been watching the show, you know that we've now started this series called They Did Time, where we highlight some of our paranormal investigators and what they did, and some of the experiments that they ran here at the historic Scott County Jail, and some of the evidence and data that they were able to capture with regard to paranormal activity here. It was a big success last time we did it, so we are going to make this a continuing series on our podcast. And today we've got some great paranormal investigation.
Highlighting the ladies.
Highlighting the ladies.
Yeah.
Great paranormal investigation teams that are going to be represented. So we're going to be sharing some of their evidence. And
grab your headphones, by the way. Some of these you're not going to need headphones for, but it definitely always helps to have those headphones.
Yeah, and we'll talk softly when we come back. So in case you do have headphones on, we're not going to blast you out.
All right. Let's see here.
So I think the first team that we're going to highlight is Tennessee Shadow Chasers. This is a great group of ladies. They just investigated Rugby a couple of weeks ago and had some spectacular evidence there. Obviously, they've been here to the jail, but Erin, Hale, Melissa, I know Audra Cook joined them there at Rugby. Again, had some great evidence at Rugby. But when they were here at the jail, they got some interesting things. So the first thing that we're going to queue up here, this was upstairs on on our third floor. And I think at this point, they were just kind of getting a little bit of B-roll and just kind of panning across some of the articles that we have up with regard to Jerome Boyett and Barry Bowling up there, some of the lynching articles that they have. And as she's scanning, there's definitely a voice that comes behind. They don't caption it, but we're gonna play it. Let you guys hear it and see if you pick up on what we've picked up on and what they picked up on.
Yeah,
here.
and so we won't. Some of these are going to be captured. This one is not, and so we'll play it. We'll get what you think, and then we'll play it again. We'll kind of talk about what we think too. So
okay, so this is a headphone alert. If you put them on, go ahead and do it now.
yeah, we'll give you just a second there. All right, now.
Okay, we're coming back.
Okay.
All right, did anybody catch it? It's right when she pans from the one article to the left to the second article. It almost sounds like it almost sounds like there's a male talking behind them. Now that there were no males here that night, so we'll play it one more time and see if you catch it. Okay, so if anybody else caught that, they think it says, and as do I think there's a male voice behind them that says, "How'd they die?" And it almost has like an accent behind it, like "How'd they die?" Kind of in a soft whisper. So that was kind of an interesting catch. Again, they didn't caption it, but it's to me, especially with the headphones on, I can hear it behind them.
Yeah, and I'll play that. We sort of don't agree on what we think it says. I think it says "help them all." So let me play that again. And so, but no, it's just kind of a little bit of a gruff whisper, and it is definitely got a Southern accent, and it's male. So we'll play it one more time. You know, I almost changed what I think it says. I almost think it said "hang them up."
Oh wow. Okay, that's a good one
I don't
too.
know. To me,
Or
that
hang them high.
or hang them high.
Hang them high. That could be.
Can we listen to that one more time?
Yeah, sorry,
I know
let's do it one
it's
more
short.
time.
I mean, we've
Yeah,
got others,
it's when she pans, like when the camera pans down and then comes back up to the Barry Bowling article.
I think it may be "hang them high" now that okay. So hang them up.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you now. I think it says "hang them up."
Yeah. Let's see. It looks like a lot of other people. So yeah, it was kind of a fast one. People saying that they heard it there,
good.
and then yep,
Hang them something. Yeah, I think "hang them up" is kind of what it's saying.
hang them up.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, it's very it absolutely makes sense with what's going on there in that specific area where we talk about all the inmates who were killed from here.
And it's interesting, you know, we mentioned this to Haunted Discoveries when they were there, and we kind of mention it to any paranormal investigation team that comes. It seems that the EVPs that a lot of the teams capture here are inserted into conversations or inserted into something that you're doing. A lot of them that are captured aren't in response to an EVP session per se. It's more of when you're walking around looking at things, it's almost like something's walking behind you, inserting itself either into your conversation or into what you're doing, which is, you know, kind of fascinating. Obviously, we get EVPs on static cameras here a lot. But really, I would say that if you've got somebody doing an EVP session, it's almost interesting to listen before and after that EVP session to see, kind of what you captured.
Or do it with headphones.
Yeah, do it with headphones.
Yeah. We always tell people don't turn your recorders off, because when you're using the bathroom here, when you're having a snack, they tend to like to talk about that.
Yep. And we're going to highlight in our next iteration of this, we're going to highlight a couple that were captured in our bathroom by one of the last teams that was just here. And I mean, he did not turn off his recorder, so you hear it, and then you hear the EVP, which is wild.
I always feel really pervy when I'm telling the teams, because I'm like, when you go to the bathroom there, be sure to keep your recorder going.
Yeah, exactly.
Not because I want to hear you go into the bathroom.
Right. And then you catch something while, you're doing your business, and it's kind of embarrassing to share, but dadgummit, it happens. So
I always feel that way. I'm like, now look, I'm not telling you to do this because I'm a perv, but I'm telling you because
it happens, especially if you're a man in there and you get a lady talking. Like I said, we'll highlight this in the next one, but I mean, you hear the dude urinating and there's a woman talking right there while he's doing it. So it is kind of interesting.
So the next
Glad you
one,
said it.
I think it every time. So the next one is another Tennessee Shadow Chasers one. And I thought this one was really kind of cool, because if anyone's followed my stuff, they know that I love the flashlights, and the jail loves using the flashlights too. And when you can get those flashlights to respond intelligently, it's kind of hard to debunk that. But this one, they were actually sitting down in the drunk tank, and they pulled out some of Tennessee's finest moonshine here and was having a conversation. And of course, they that Richard Ellis had kind of a strong stance on that, so they addressed him. So that's what this clip is.
Smeared off. I get no moonshine, nothing. You don't get real stuff. Tennessee's had to offer that today. RD, Sheriff RD isn't going to be too happy with you drinking that moonshine. That's right. Moonshine is not for the Baptist. Turn off that flashlight if you agree with me. Turn on the flashlight if this is RD. Let's try to see. I think we're talking about RD. Yeah. ARD. No. It's not RD.
So I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I love the fact that, Tennessee Shadow Chasers, they don't bring little moonshine. I mean, when they bring moonshine, they bring the moonshine. So you got to hand it to them. I mean, they really brought the trigger item.
Right.
I mean, I just get the little bottles.
That's why you don't get a response.
That's probably why, right?
Lying.
I need to bring a daggum barrel or something next time. But good job, Tennessee Shadow Chasers. And thank you guys for sharing that with us. We really do appreciate it. And thank you guys for coming to the jail and also rugby, and anything else that you capture, either here or at rugby, please share it. Tennessee Shadow Chasers, you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
All right. The next one that we're going to move on to, they're very chatty over in the chat room right now, is Rochelle and Jennifer and their team when they came here the first time to investigate the jail. Now, a lot of paranormal investigation teams get this sigh upstairs on the third floor. A lot of people report it. Even our day guests report that something sighs while they're up there. And I love this clip from Rochelle because it is the best example of what we've heard and what other paranormal investigation teams have captured and or heard with regard to this sigh. So again, thank you, Rochelle, and your team for sending this and for letting us play it. But here we go. So they're upstairs on the third floor in the upstairs third floor women's cell.
This is the Laura and Jared exit. This is I'm trying to do a night vision in there where y'all is at, so I can see what's in there with you. Well, let me turn my lights off for you then. Bitch, what? I just heard a Is that you? No, someone grabbed I'll be with you. Was that you?
No, that was behind him. I could hear it.
Did you?
And then,
did you hear that?
and then, I'm sorry, I kicked your camera. And then it said,
hell.
I heard it.
I thought it was you because you were.
So again, a perfect example. And Rochelle pointed this out, and thanks for bringing this up. You know, when we have teams that come here to the third floor, especially in that women's cell, they just don't like being interrogated, and they just don't like things that are stuffy or just kind of I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for, but they like it when you goof off.
Interrogative.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Whatever that was. Maybe you need some moonshine. They like it when you have fun, when you're jovial, when you goof off, when you don't take things too seriously. And for some reason, that cell really responds to that type of environment. And, you know, you can see they were kind of dancing around, they were goofing off and laughing. And yeah, it kind of sounds like a sigh of exasperation, but it is something that we get all of the time here, especially up in that area. So, you know, again, that's what we tell teams when they come to just don't be so stoic up in that room, because things like dancing around, playing music, joking and laughing seems to get some interesting responses.
And Kim brings out a good point. She heard that sigh in the front of the building on the third floor. I know I've heard it twice and heard other teams, and I'm trying to rack my brain to see if other teams have sent us a copy of the sigh. We've had so many people hear it and sent evidence, but the one there in the front tends to be just like a, you know, we hear that a lot too. And so it's always interesting when the teams come down from their investigation and we're talking to them. I know we'll be talking and I'll say something about, yeah, did you catch the sigh? And everyone will all of a sudden start looking at each other and be like, oh my gosh, yes, we heard that. We didn't realize that was something that, because I don't always like to tell people necessarily up front until they come down saying what they've got. But the sigh is that, and coughing is something that people tend to get up on that third floor as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with all the cigarettes and stuff that were, you know, contraband in here, that they would still get through the windows, coughing is very likely.
Yeah.
Bob asks a question there.
Let's see. Bob says, is there one area more than others that's more active? No. And that's a great question, you know, and I've kind of learned, you know, being an investigator, when I ask a location that, I've kind of learned from experience here that it's like it rotates here. You know, sometimes the second floor is more active, sometimes the drunk tanks, and then other times it's like you could drop a pin in some of those areas and you would hear that but not hear anything else. So it honestly depends on the energy of the team and the energy of the night.
It does. Yeah. And there's some cases where, like Davis Paranormal, right? And they even said it on their video. It almost like it's almost like a cat and mouse thing, right? Where you don't hear anything on the second floor. And so you go up to the third floor, and then all of a sudden you hear footsteps and banging and everything else on the second floor. So it's an interesting jail from the respect that it's different. You know, it varies, like Miranda said, between the teams and the night.
Yeah. And D-Hoot, that's a good point. It could have been somebody taking a drag off something, like a cigarette.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
That's a very good point. So let's see here. Just making sure we're not missing any questions here. Whoops. There we go.
Hey, Damien.
Damien says, has anyone ever got lightheaded or dizzy when playing gospel on the second floor, or was I just that lucky? I have heard of people getting dizzy and lightheaded on the second floor. Most people tend to respond on the second floor as being a heavier feeling. I don't know if they were playing gospel when they got that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. I know that men seem to have a different feeling on the second floor. In fact, there's a paranormal investigation couple. They're up and coming. They're just starting out, really. They came just to kind of see the jail last week. And I didn't want to tell them any of the hot spots. I told them, obviously, the jail is active, but I let them walk upstairs, and they were going to tell me if they felt anything when they came back downstairs. And so when he came down, he mentioned a specific cell that he went into and said he just did not feel good in that cell. He got goosebumps. He didn't like being in there. And I said, yeah, that's a cell where men tend to get a different reaction than women. And again, it was something that he would not have known which cell it was. I didn't direct him in any way, but he came down and he pinpointed that cell. So men definitely have a different reaction. And, to Damien's point also, corrections officers and law enforcement officers have a much different experience here.
Yeah.
On the Haunted Discoveries episode, right? Kevin Audi is a former sheriff's deputy. So he was getting the most responses that night. The gentleman that I just mentioned that came in last week with his wife, the up and coming paranormal investigation team, he was in corrections or law enforcement for, I think 32 years, 33 is what he said. He was also military. So again, different responses to that type of profession as well, which is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, and just kind of looking here, Jennifer and Rochelle, they are repeat offenders, and they've come back. We had them on the show not too long ago, a little bit earlier this year. They came back down, made a special trip to do a second investigation here. So hope you all will come back, and can't wait to see what you all get on your newest video there, because I know you had some experiences that happened in the moment. Because we talked about that. So definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then of course, highly recommend singing.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just going to point also, I mean, Rochelle and Jennifer are a great example of paranormal investigators who come in with just this attitude of positivity. And I mean, yeah, they have expectations that the jail is going to talk to them, but they're fine if something doesn't happen. And because of that, I think they get so much activity here. But they just come in with this positive outlook, this positive nature. Hey, let's just hit it tonight and see what happens. And understanding that things may not, but every time they've come, something has happened. So,
I mean, I'm a firm believer you get what you bring in.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
These teams that have good, positive attitudes and good chemistry, they get great stuff. I mean, obviously it doesn't happen every single time, but definitely get good stuff. And Chrissy's got a question here. She says, does it still surprise you all when stuff like that happens, or do you just continue on like nothing happens?
That surprised the hell out of me. If y'all watch that video where the footsteps happen, I mean, I think I jumped out of this chair so fast it toppled over. Sally hightailed it in because it was in the room right behind this wall right here. And if you haven't watched the video, it's pretty compelling. I grabbed my phone. Like I said, I think I toppled the chair when I got up. She took off and jumped onto the display case, and she's watching the ceiling because she's hearing the footsteps as well.
And by she means Sally.
Yeah.
I didn't jump on the display case.
No. But Sally certainly did. And so, we're always trying to document that stuff as soon as it happens. Every now and then it gets a little old walking upstairs, seeing where the footsteps are at. But, to me, it's still as fascinating as the first time you hear them.
I'd have to say it doesn't surprise me when it happens because we do experience it so much, but it definitely startles me, to turn around and see something out of the corner of your eye, to be cleaning up and see an apparition behind you, especially at 3 a.m. And to hear and on down the line, we're going to play something that I captured when I was locking up that, thankfully I had my phone nearby, but I guess it never ceases to amaze me at what can happen. Once you think you've experienced it all, something just out of left field happens. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And seeing what the teams get too, right? Yeah. I mean, there'll be times when people come down and it's just, we can't explain it. It's some of the stuff that they captured. So we're really excited to do shows like this where we can highlight all of that stuff.
Yeah. So let's see. We'll answer just a couple more questions, then we'll get on to more evidence here. Dee Dee says, did anyone from the Wild West visit the jail or have anything to do with your area? I just watched the Wyatt Earp series and the Cowboy Wars.
Yes. So Jesse James he and his brother did use Huntsville as a hideout for about 9 months in 1867. They actually ran a feed and grain store here. Jesse James used the alias of David Moore. Nobody knew who they were. They actually had a hotel room in the Sharps Hotel here. And by all accounts, they were great guys. Everybody seemed to like them. They just knew that they would leave every now and then and come back with a little bit more money than when they left. But it wasn't until Jesse was killed in Missouri that they figured out who David Moore, aka David Moore, really was. So they were never in the jail because nobody knew who they were, but they did use Huntsville as a hideout for about 9 months.
Yeah. Whole article on it from one of our local historians, did an amazing article on that. And I do want to point out Jennifer's comment, because this is very, very common. And we warn our teams when they come in wanting to document. You just never know what's going to happen. And a lot of the time, cameras malfunctioning are very, very common here. And so I hope you're able to get your evidence recovered.
Yeah, we'd love to see it.
We're sorry about that. However, that is something that does tend to happen a lot
You put a
here.
sign on the door.
So, yeah, not responsible
for
for
battery drain.
I always say when I tell people to put their sharp objects out on the second floor, it's like, I'm not responsible when that stuff walks away, because they will take your knives and your sharps and anything like that. So I always tend to add that.
Yep.
So, all right, I say we get on with more evidence.
Yep, let's move this.
All right. So, so our next lady that we're going to highlight, she was actually a guest on my show, Ghostbiker Garage, last week, Miss Candy Thompson, or Paranormal Candy. She was here with the gentleman from Wrestling with Ghosts, and she got some really cool stuff. This team is a good example of using positive energy and comedy to do this, but Candy made her own video. And so, so the first video that we're going to show, they had come in, and so half of the team wanted to go on a tour and find out about the history. The other 3 people, including Candy, wanted to go in cold. They didn't want to know anything, and they wanted to see if their intuition would allow them to pick up on something while they were out investigating. So what you're going to hear, you will hear some voices. We are up on the 3rd floor doing the tour. Candy and 2 other folks, they were down here, and you're going to see on the first thing it's going to show is, so we give the teams a set of handcuffs that they can use as a trigger item and that they sign, and we keep here at the jail. So as they're standing there, the handcuffs start swinging. There was no heat or air going on at the time. That has a direct correlation to a pendulum that is here in the booking room. It was swinging at the same time. So as they're exploring this and checking that out, they catch a really cool disembodied voice. So we're going to go ahead and play this.
Not stop moving. That's crazy. Do you feel anything? It's like you're like blocking it. Put your hand over it and see if it stops. Where do you think it's coming from? Beneath? It won't stop. You try to make it stop. I know. It's like, listen to us. I hope it stays like this. Oh my God. There's no way. I'm just making it worse. And it's not stopping either. To me, that's weird. Mm-hmm. There's something here for sure. Well, sorry. Sorry you had to die that way. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you feel it? Do you feel the energy? Who said hello? Did you hear hello?
Yeah, was that them? Why would they say hello?
Do you feel it? I feel something.
There's something in this stairway. Yeah.
Do you feel it? Do you feel the energy? Who said hello?
That's crazy. It's so not moving.
It's not moving anymore.
There's something in this.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And something that we've had some different people experience lately. We do believe that that is a residual child from here. We're unaware of any kids that passed away here in the jail, but you did have kids that grew up here for long time, from about 1904 until 1976. And so they did hear that in the moment. We have had people, I know several people there in the audience, talk about having a child's presence come up and either feeling that presence or feeling them touch them. Females tend to experience that a lot more than anyone else. But it's just really cool that they were able to capture that. And, and also the handcuffs swinging.
Mhm.
That's something that's very common on our flashlight tours that we'll hear. We'll be up on the 3rd floor and hear what sounds like flashlights jingling in the, or excuse me, handcuffs jiggling in the background.
Yeah. And then the pendulum that stays here at the jail. It wasn't something that they brought. It's something that we have sitting here. Kelly Schaefer, thank you so much for donating that to the jail. We do keep it sitting here if any team wants to use it, or if we take it up. It is an interesting item to use here, but it takes a lot to get that pendulum to swing. I mean, even, when all of her heft Sally jumps up onto the counter, it doesn't move. So you have to either physically move or hit that jar. And they were not doing that. So to have that pendulum swinging was actually pretty interesting, because they got the handcuffs swinging at the same time.
Yeah. And so, so another video from her trip. So they ended up going on up to the 3rd floor, and they spent quite a bit of time investigating there in Big Roy's cell. Now, they did capture the name incorrectly on this. They were calling him Big Joe. But then again, with this many years being in service, there was probably a Big Joe, a Big Larry, and a Big Roy here in the jail, and probably a Big Rhonda too.
Yeah.
But
we had big everybody.
We're pretty big and tall around here in
It's all
Scott County.
the fried potatoes y'all eat.
We're in the gravy belt. And so Bible Belt, gravy belt, it's all the same around here. But so when we're upstairs, they were in Big Roy's cell. And Big Roy is known to act a different way around women. He likes to communicate with them. Sometimes he can be kind of a little turkey, but then other times, he likes to challenge the guys and stuff. This first one is a disembodied voice that they did hear inside of Roy's cell. We do believe he was in here for crimes against women, and this just kind of validates that. So here we go. Let's see, wrong one.
If I have something in here,
All the above.
Oh my God, he's over
I can
here.
feel you.
He's crazy.
I can feel you. You were the one that rubbed your finger at my freaking spine in the hallway, aren't you? And grabbed my neck.
So his name was Big Joe.
Yep.
Play that one more time.
A rapist or a pedophile or something in here.
All the above.
Oh my God, he's over
I can
here.
feel you.
He's crazy.
I can feel you. You were the one that rubbed your finger at my freaking spine in the hallway, aren't you? And grabbed my neck.
So his name was Big Joe.
Yep.
I mean, they heard that in the moment.
Mhm.
And so just so we're not censored, we won't repeat what it says, but hopefully you guys heard that. And, I know Jennifer says that Roy threatened to stab her. So that's kind of some of the stuff that
He's very blunt, our Roy.
and he likes to stifle some of the other inmates in
Yeah,
there too.
he does. Yeah. And again, he's one of those, he either has an on night or an off night. He either likes you or he doesn't.
Yeah. And by like, we mean in communicating, because
Right.
and so the next one is actually inside of Roy's cell. And so we always tell people, especially if you're female, he may want to touch you. He may want to, just speak. This team chose to go in the cell and utilize the spirit box. I know that Candy really gets some really good results on the spirit box. And so this is just Roy being Roy. And this is activity that we typically get from him as well as other teams. So one interesting thing to note on this, when they tried using the spirit box at first, no sound came out, period. Not even the static sound. And so when they call him out on the fact that he's not responding, this is what they get.
It's not making any noise.
Felt like it was called this corner.
That corner
I'm
is
feeling the pain in my back again.
we literally y'all, this is beyond weird. I've never seen this in my life. For the first time in like how many investigations, this thing just will not work, and no voices came through, and it was scrolling all the stations. That is, to me, the silence is weirder.
Yeah. It's getting really cold behind me again.
Here, I'm gonna step out.
Okay.
I won't go anywhere, but I'll be right here.
Did you like blue eyed women?
No?
What about brown eyed women?
Yeah, so a couple interesting things in there, right? You notice that not even the static was coming through on that spirit box. It wasn't until the gentleman stepped out that it actually started working. And Miranda just pointed out the battery drain. It went from almost a half of a battery to almost empty in the space of just filming that little clip. So it's just definitely kind of interesting.
And I just want to play that last little part right here with what Roy said. I mean, clear as can be.
As to me, the silence is weirder.
Yeah. It's getting really cold behind me again.
Here, I'm gonna step out.
Okay.
I won't go anywhere, but I'll be right here.
Did you like blue eyed women?
No?
And see, that's a great example. You know, a lot of people can go one way or the other on the spirit box. I particularly love the spirit box because on that clip, when it says y'all ugly, you can still hear the static moving behind it, changing the frequencies, but yet you've got that clear sentence coming through. So I thought it was actually a really cool piece of evidence.
Yeah. And Rochelle says, there's almost a whisper in there too, behind the girls talking before the gentleman steps out. Yeah. You know, it's always hard for us to call things out and stuff when we've got big teams that have a lot of people here, you know, to account for everybody. But yeah, I mean, it was just those three on there. So we thought that was a really cool capture and good personality call on Roy. And we got to say, those girls were quite lovely. They were not ugly.
They
so,
weren't, no.
you know. The next one here and the final one,
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. So this was one that I actually captured one day when I was locking up. This couple things with this. So this goes to show that things happen all the time. Happens during the daytime. This was captured during the day. This was captured around 4:00 one evening. And so I was locking up, getting ready to go home. I'd gone upstairs, locked all the doors. I think I had a tour that night, so I was unlocking everything upstairs. Came down. And so if you've been here in the jail, whenever you come down the stairs, close off the stairs there by the elevator is right there. It is locked. And it was something that was rumored to be active when the jail was in operation. People would be coughed on. They would feel a dominating presence in there. So this is kind of like Chris's video that she caught there with the ceiling. She heard it and pulled her camera out. So as I happened to walk by, something jarred the elevator and I stopped and I grabbed my camera or my phone there to record and caught this really cool thing.
Yeah.
So,
And just to clarify again, there is a padlock on the elevator. Miranda and I are the only ones that have the key. There's no way anybody can get into this elevator. So it's definitely an interesting capture.
yeah. Hello. Can you knock again? Whoa. Who's in there? That's the elevator. Can you do this? Can you make that sound again? Hello? Did you just say hello? Whoa. I'm gonna knock one more time. Can you knock back? Who's talking?
Right?
I know it was kind of soft, but if you have the headphones on and turn it up, you can clearly hear the voice in there. And what's wild to me, and I can grab my phone and show you what the elevator looks like right now with the padlock, but it sounds muffled of a voice inside there and something jarring on the door. It was, I mean, it was pretty wild because I could hear it in the moment. I couldn't tell that what they were saying until I went back and listened to the headphones there. So
Yeah, I mean, but you can clearly hear the knocks. You don't need headphones to hear the knocks. And as Miranda said, there's obviously no wind. There's nothing that can come. It's an elevator shaft in the interior of this building. So it was not there. There's no way wind can do this. She's in the building by herself. And the fact that you're getting these knocks in response. And as Miranda stated before, this was an area where people were reporting things even when the jail was in operation. I mean, we've had deputies come over here. We've had 911 operators come over here, and they tell us that when they used to ride the elevator up by themselves, there are some ladies that wouldn't do it because they felt creeped out inside the elevator. One woman had something cough on the back of her neck, so she never rode it again. And hearing whispers was extremely common as well. So obviously, it's not something that we allow paranormal investigators to go into, because if you open that door, like, the elevator is not level with the ground. You have to actually step down a couple feet to get into it. We just have chairs in there right now. So, I mean, we go in every now and then, but for the most part, that thing is locked all the time. I mean, sometimes you even forget it's there. It's just one of those things.
yeah, and that was that's the first time I've had any interaction with the elevator, and it really did catch me off guard because when I stepped down past it, and it literally just knocked, and I was trying to get out of here pretty quick, actually, because I had a later tour that evening, but yeah, it knocked, and it was just like, it was very responsive. And then I feel like it said what it said there at the end, and to me it makes it sound like, they've knocked twice on response, on command, and then when I ask them to do it again, that's when they swear at me.
Yes, like F you. But again, to Miranda's point, inside it sounds like it's muffled, like it's coming from inside the elevator. So if you go back and we'll
Can I play that one more time?
Yeah, we'll play it one more time. Everybody,
Yeah.
if you got headphones on, go ahead and put them on now. We're going to mute ours, and here we go.
Hello. Can you knock again? Whoa. Who's in there? That's the elevator. Can you do this? Can you make that sound again? Hello? Did you just say hello? Whoa. I'm gonna knock one more time. Can you knock back? Who's talking? So, like I said, you know, I think they got a little tired of me asking, them
We're not
to
going to knock anymore. We've knocked enough. You knock next
cut
time.
hair.
So so that type of stuff, that's the type of stuff that we get here. And our paranormal investigators have done a great job highlighting this. Everybody that we've shared tonight, thank you for sharing that with us, for allowing us to highlight you and your team, and for just coming here and supporting the jail. We sincerely appreciate it. James.
And I kind of want to tag on that. Chris and I have talked about doing, I think it'd be pretty cool to do an Estes.
Yeah. Honestly, James, it's like I said, one of those things, you kind of forget the elevator's even there. And in fact, I hardly ever think about it until somebody, comes up and asks why the elevator doesn't work. But you just kind of bypass it every day. So we do need to investigate it. We need to get in there and do an Estes method. I think it'd be really cool.
And I mean, we can't really let teams do it because
it's not stable.
It's literally, you got to step down probably,
at least a good 2 feet step down in there to get into it. And
it's on the ground. And
I don't think our insurance would cover that.
Yeah. So, I mean, and thank you, Rochelle. But this is something we hear often here. I would like to learn more about that, because to me it sounds like it's two different voices. And
and this is something that they would bring unruly inmates down from this elevator, or anybody that had that couldn't get down the steps on their own accord. So we actually had a restraint chair. That if they were upstairs and they needed to be restrained, they would strap them in. Oh, I thought you were gonna do it with me.
Oh,
that was like, I thought we were gonna be like tandem.
Okay, here we go.
Like, ready? They would strap them in. I was like, we cannot be that in sync. We got to draw the line somewhere. Anyway. They would restrain them in this essentially a straight jacket type of chair and bring them down. So to have somebody say F you would probably be extremely common as they're coming down restrained in this chair. So it's definitely an interesting thing. And I guess we need to start taking advantage of it.
Yeah, no doubt. So, but that is our evidence show again, and like Chris said, we do appreciate everyone that has allowed us to highlight your evidence. And more importantly, we thank you for coming and trying to communicate with our jail and sharing with us what you got. So, this is just a little taste of what we play on our flashlight tour. We highlight our teams and evidence that they've captured and that we've captured and stuff on those flashlight tours, and encourage the people on those tours to go check out your stuff, And so, I look forward to having more of these shows. So
they're a lot of fun.
Yeah. So if you are a team and you've got some things, send them on. We'd love to spotlight you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, Addie, we don't have the chair here at the jail, but the sheriff's office was nice enough to send us some photos. That is part of an exhibit that we are working on here. We do have photos of that chair. So,
Nancy, Shelly's running around here like a maniac right now. I didn't put her food bag up, so she's noshing, trying to get into the food bag, and right now she's coughing up a hairball. So a lot of Shelly activity right now too.
Yeah. And so next week we will have another great show here on Thursday night. We're still working to get other jails and stuff on. We did book one today that's going to be later on in the month. We're excited about. We've got lots of emails out to different jails around the country, hoping, and a couple different tour companies that we've been chatting with that hopefully we'll have on here very soon. And just lots of really cool things. Join us on one of our tours.
Yeah, everybody, listen, thank you so much. Again, we've reached our 3-year anniversary, but it really is because of your support, enthusiasm, and really sharing the word about what we do and coming to investigate for yourself. And so, we've had a lot of great things happen for us these last 3 years, but getting to know y'all, getting to call you friends, this is what is really important to us. So thank you so much. We cannot express how much it means to us.
Yeah, and remember, if you're looking to book your paranormal investigation, we still have some dates available. Not many, but a few here in September. You will get that extra hour, so take advantage of that. And we may be a small jail, but you can find a lot to occupy your time if you want to spend that time here investigating.
Yeah, nothing else,
So-
just come and pet those Sally belly
Yeah, exactly. Literally, as she rolls over.
as she rolls over. Yeah.
We will also be releasing throughout the week some of this evidence that we highlight on the shows so that you guys can go and follow that. We've got the links to everyone's page there in the show notes. So go check out Rochelle and Jennifer and Candy and Tennessee
Shadow Chasers.
Yes.
Yep.
So go check all of them out, show them some love, and follow these content creators as well as their other investigations that they do. So if you're looking for more paranormal content, don't laugh at me.
I'm not laughing at you.
If you're looking for more paranormal content, you can go over and follow on the Ghost Biker Explorations page. I've got Joe Eskew. Joseph Eskew is going to be on my show tonight. He is a near-death experiencer as well as a researcher, and we're going to be diving in deep and talking about some of his paranormal theories, and they're really interesting. So that'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern time tonight.
All right. Sounds good. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We hope you all have a great Thursday night, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.